Technical difficulties.
All right. So, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us for the March edition of Dramatically Successful Public Speaking with Ariana Lisa Newcomer. I'm Rodney Washington, your host, and we are getting ready to get started. So, what I'm going to do, we have one more participant, Claire Sierra, who will be joining us momentarily. But we're going to get started with Andrea. And right now, I'm going to introduce Ariana, and then we're going to get going here. So, just 1 second. So first I want to introduce Ariana. Ariana, Lisa Newcomer, is a transformational voice coach and is the developer of the Reclaim Your Authentic Voice programs and Bodywork for Voice. Ariana specializes in teaching conscious entrepreneurs, coaches, and authors to speak with power and confidence in their authentic voices and to align spirit, money, and voice for dramatically successful public speaking. She is a Harvard graduate, former professional opera singer, and certified sacred money archetype coach in training. She is also a massage therapist, certified provider of the listening program, Mom of Two, and has taught voice since 1995. She is a two-time graduate of the Estel Voice Training, certified caring economy conversation leader with the Caring Economy campaign, and an internationally published best-selling author. A voice injury ended her singing career, and her journey back to a healthy voice, along with her rich performing, teaching, and therapeutic background, inspired her unique and powerful approach to transformational voice coaching. So with that said, you are in really, really good hands with Ariana today. Now, Ariana is going to be welcoming to the Hangout this month Claire Sierra and Andrea Crimmins, and she will be coaching both of them on the Hangout today. But also I wanted to tell you, if you have any questions for Ariana or any comments you'd like to share with us about the Hangout today, on the event page where you're watching the broadcast right now, there is a Facebook chat feature below. So feel free to leave your questions there or comments there, and if there's time at the end of today's session, I will send those questions over to Ariana or ask them, and we'll try to address them for you. So with that said, I'm going to open up the floor to our guests today. I'm sorry.
No, me first.
I'm so sorry.
I'm Ariana. Thank you so much, Rodney. And welcome, everyone. I so appreciate your joining us today. Claire has been having some technical issues, so she had to reboot her computer, and hopefully she's going to be joining us shortly. But this is the nature of Google Hangouts. We actually get together usually about half an hour ahead of time in order to iron out any technical issues that we might be having with sound or the particular computer or the positioning, our lighting, and all kinds of things. So we know, and I'm just acknowledging to you, that these things do happen on Google Hangouts. So please bear with us. We have lots of wonderful content for you today. I hope you're going to be inspired. And I want to let you know also that I do this business in teaching people how to speak out, speak up, step up, get on the stage, get their work out there, because I am on a bigger mission to actually shift the paradigm on our planet into one that can actually create a sustainable culture so we can all continue to thrive and grow. And you know, our planet is at a tipping point, and we don't have a heck of a lot more time. So all of you conscious entrepreneurs out there, I am dedicated to teaching you how to speak with your authentic voice in a way that gets your work out there, because we need everybody's voices strongly and powerfully in order to create this shift. And I want you to make wonderful money doing your heart's work, because we don't want to leave the economy to the people who've been running it for a long time, do we? They haven't done such a great job. So I want you out there, and that's why I am doing this work. So I am welcoming Andrea Crimmins here with us today. And Andrea, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell people a little bit about what you do and your work, and then we're going to jump into coaching you.
Okay, great. Thank you, Ariana. Your mission is very inspiring, and I think we share that larger vision of really wanting to create that paradigm shift. So in the work that I do, I help people really get to the heart of their subconscious beliefs and patterns that they're carrying around that are affecting their ability to live fully, to live with happiness, to really connect to their larger purpose. And I really believe that when people have that authentic happiness, they are able to be more active in participating and creating the change that our planet does need. And so that is definitely part of my larger mission as well. And I started out doing intuitive readings for many years and began to see these patterns for people and have now focused my work on really helping uproot those.
Wonderful, wonderful. And just tell people what your website is and how they can contact you right now. We'll have you do that again a little bit later.
Great. So my website is simplewisdomwithin.com, and you can reach me through email at andrea@simplewisdomwithin.com.
Great. Good. So Andrea has done my Authentic Voice and Sacred Money Archetypes Assessment. And she discovered that her top archetype is Nurturer, and number 2 is Alchemist, number 3 is Connector. And her last one is Celebrity. And of course, most of you watching probably don't know what those mean, but I'm going to be drawing on the attributes of those archetypes as I'm coaching her to help her understand where her strengths and weaknesses lie, both in her communication style and in her relationship with money. So we are going to jump in, and these are archetypes that were developed by Kendall Summerhawk, and I am training to become certified in her Sacred Money Archetypes coaching. And so these are actually such a beautiful complement to the voice work. They fit just perfectly in with your communication style. So first of all, Andrea, I want to let you know that nurturers, which is your number 1 archetype, are, of course, nurturing. They really always want to take care of other people. They're very good at noticing what other people need. And nurturers can also overgive a lot, and nurturers can have a tendency to go always over time with their client sessions, or to give away a lot of their time, or even to give away money sometimes to family members or close friends or people who ask and feel like they need it. But nurturers have, of course, this wonderful ability to connect and create that comfortable feeling with other people. So this is a great archetype, actually, to have as your top archetype. So I want to ask you to read your mission statement for me. And I noticed that Claire has joined us, and we're waiting for her video to kick in. So hopefully that's going to work well. So Andrea, go ahead and read me your mission statement, and we'll go from there.
Okay. So with Simple Wisdom Within, I'm on a mission to help people learn how to free themselves from subconscious beliefs and patterns that are keeping them from living with wholehearted happiness. I believe that people who live from a place of wholeness and happiness are inherently more active in creating a world full of wisdom, compassion, and beauty. My greatest passion is working to help women and artists learn the skills of happiness so they have the emotional freedom to create, live, and act from a place of open-hearted, loving kindness.
Great. That's just beautiful. I love that. It's really wonderful. Now, I want to ask you to kind of spark it up.
Okay.
I want you to think about reading it, saying it as though you were reading it to a room full of squiggly kindergartners, and like it was a children's story.
Right. Okay.
And you have to keep those squiggly wiggly kindergartners engaged with you.
Okay. Okay. Nervous. All right. With simple wisdom within, I'm on a mission to help people learn how to free themselves from subconscious beliefs and patterns that are keeping them from living with wholehearted happiness. I believe that people who live from a place of wholeness and happiness are inherently more active in creating a world full of wisdom, compassion, and beauty.
Okay, good. Let's stop there.
Okay.
That was way more interesting.
Okay.
How did you feel doing it, and how did it sound to you?
Mm-hmm. Well, it's helpful because I have worked with kindergartners quite a bit, so so if I can place myself in that mindset of working with children, it's easier. I definitely feel self-conscious, but if I imagine I'm speaking to kids, I don't feel self-conscious with them. It's just with adults that I feel nervous and self-conscious speaking. So I think that's a really useful way to think about it, but it feels exaggerated to me. So it's like there's discomfort with being more animated. So.
Okay, good. So that's what I wanted to get at. So it felt a little bit uncomfortable being that animated for you.
Definitely.
Okay. Rodney, would you help reflect back to Andrea? Did she seem like she was really over the top?
No, not at all. I didn't feel or get a sense of that. And I think that's the beauty that you brought up for all of us, is that to us in our ear, we sound like we're too loud, or we're sounding like we're being almost comical in a way, but to the audience, actually, we're right. We're sounding really perfect. So, no, you sounded great. Great. Awesome.
All right. So this is something that is a theme that repeats over and over, and it happens with almost all of my clients. It happens with usually everyone who I'm coaching on the Hangout, is that we don't hear ourselves accurately. So we think that we are using a lot more expression than we actually are, and you're not alone in this. Most people are this way. And it's just because not only do we listen to ourselves from inside our heads, but we're also filtering our own voice through our brains, through our own perceptions of what we think we sound like, what we want to sound like, what we wish we sounded like, and then through other things that can actually be causing us to hold our voice back. And I call those things voice stories. And an example of a voice story is something like girls should be seen and not heard. And I had one client for whom she was told that all the time as a child, and she created this very, very tiny, small voice because of that. She really internalized that, and this is the way that she spoke. And people would talk over her all the time. She couldn't be heard in a noisy restaurant, and she was kind of her family doormat. And when she changed that way of speaking and found what she called her power voice, people stopped talking over her. They started listening to her. She got a new job. She started taking the lead at work in ways that she'd never done before. And she started setting boundaries with her family members in ways that she hadn't done before. So shifting this perception of ourselves, getting a more accurate sense of really how we do sound, is so important and transformational. This is one of the transformational aspects of working with your voice. When we shift the way that we speak, we actually shift those old energetic patterns that we brought in from childhood. So also in working with the archetypes now, you have nurturer, alchemist, and connector in your top. And nurturer and connector are very, very much interested in creating those relationships with people. And there's Claire. Hi, Claire, we see you. If you could sit still, please, when you're bouncing around. It's really hard to concentrate. Thanks. So the nurturer and the connector archetype can have a hard time really standing up for themselves and speaking out for themselves, because they can be concerned that oh, the other person is going to not like me, or it's going to break this connection that I value so much. And so that can make you hold your voice back. Does that resonate for you at all, Andrea?
Yes, it does. And I think sort of the other side of that coin is that then if, our limits get pushed too far, then it's an over the top reaction versus just a consistent directness.
Right, because the resentment can build up from all of that holding back and all of that doing and doing and doing for others. Mm-hmm. And especially if we aren't really being recognized or appreciated for everything that we're doing. Right. Mm-hmm. So I want you to think about that in the context of the way that you speak. Now, this is your business mission statement, right? You're a businesswoman, you're an entrepreneur, which requires you to step up to another level. And we find that when we go into this entrepreneurial place, there are all kinds of things that we have to learn. And it's not just learning about all the parts of a business and how to do them all, but how do we step into and inhabit that being of being an entrepreneur, being a businesswoman. And especially for the nurturer and the connector who tend to want to, pull back, be safe, have those nice heart connections, it can be tricky. So I would like you to think about, your second archetype was alchemists. Now, the alchemist is one who likes the sort of really creative stuff. They're great at coming up with ideas. They might not be as good at actually monetizing those ideas, but that kind of excitement and the magic and the sparkle of the transformation, alchemists really love that. And alchemists also tend to be involved in social justice movements and wanting to make the world a better place. So, of course, that fits with our big mission, and alchemist is my number one, I have to say. So I would like you to think about this alchemist who has this sparkle and this creativity and this drive to do good in the world, plays with magical ideas and delights in wonderful surprises. So think about alchemist a little bit and read me the beginning of your mission statement again. Mm-hmm. Let's see what happens when you think about that alchemist.
Okay. With simple wisdom within, I'm on a mission to help people learn how to free themselves from subconscious beliefs and patterns that are keeping them from living with wholehearted happiness. Should I keep going?
Now, let's just stop there. And that was really interesting. That was very different, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. Rodney, that was pretty different from either of the two other times, wasn't it?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And how did that one feel to you, Andrea?
It felt kind of in the middle from the first one and the second one. It felt like, I was more engaged than the first time I read it through. Maybe a little bit less animated and more focusing on the internal feeling while I was reading it, trying to kind of stay in that almost meditative space internally while also reading. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so there was a different quality in your voice, and I would like you people watching to just really be aware. These are subtle differences, but our ears, our brains, are so able to pick up all of these little nuances. Tone of voice is so important, so it's not just what you say, but how you say it. And an extreme example of this is one that I often use, which is if I say, I'm so excited about going on this trip tomorrow, I can't wait. Did you believe me? No.
No.
No. So there's a whole range. I can say that, which is about here on the expressive range, and I can say, I'm so excited about going on this trip tomorrow, I can't wait! And that's over the top, right? And then there are all these shades in between. And we don't tend to think about that, but we respond to that. So think about the way that you all responded to the way that Andrea, 3 different ways that Andrea has read this so far. The first time, of course, she was reading it, and it was the first time, a little bit nervous, but it was kind of flat, not as interesting as the second time when she was thinking about reading to kindergartners, and she got that excitement and interest in her voice, and that piques your interest and makes you feel interested in what she's talking about. And then yet the third way is yet a different level, perhaps not as interesting as the second time, but more interesting than the first, but with that sort of undertone of, oh, there's something potentially wonderfully magical about to happen here, right? Good. So now I want to talk about your last archetype, which is celebrity. Celebrity, of course, is the one that wants to be in the spotlight and on the stage. And our last archetype is the one that we resonate the least with or have the most resistance to. And it could also be a really neglected part of ourselves. And when we're talking about archetypes, we're just talking about parts of ourselves. It's just a way of looking at and accessing different aspects of ourselves. So celebrity is the one that resonated least for Andrea, and celebrities tend to be naturally out there on stage. They're often always putting on a show. They like to really dress well. They were perfectly willing to spend plenty of money on their wardrobe and their bling so that they can look like a celebrity, even if they don't necessarily have as much money as they look like. And celebrities can also, in terms of money, be people that tend to really let the money just go right through their fingers. It's real easy for them to spend money on luxurious experiences and bling and special stuff for themselves. So the way that celebrity can help you, Andrea, in this situation is, I want you to think about accessing that part of yourself that loves to be on stage, that would like to get up on stage and play and present and perform and be sparkly and be charismatic and be a leader. Because there is part of you that loves to do that, and it might have gotten turned off as a little girl, perhaps. Or it might just never have been really developed for you. But I want you to think about bringing in that idea of celebrity, that person who loves to perform, who loves to be on stage, and is charismatic, and is going to get out there. And now, give me your mission statement one more time.
Okay.
Yeah, take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. Find that inner celebrity.
The inner celebrity. Okay.
And give yourself permission to let her come out and play.
Okay. All right. Whew. This is the hard one. Okay. With Simple Wisdom Within, I'm on a mission to help people learn how to free themselves from subconscious beliefs and patterns that are keeping them from living with wholehearted happiness. I believe that people who live from a place of wholeness and happiness are inherently more active in creating a world full of wisdom, compassion, and beauty.
That was fabulous. That was fabulous. I loved it. Rodney, what did you think?
2 thumbs up.
Claire, how about you? I know.
Well, you need to unmute yourself. I had to mute you really quickly because of the static. Just go to the top there.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay, great.
There, great.
Yeah, I apologize for my technical difficulties getting here. Andrea, I could feel the nervousness of your celebrity peeking out from behind the curtain, but it seemed like as you got into it more, like, oh, this could be fun, and it felt more lively and playful.
Mm-hmm. And I want to reflect for you, Andrea, that was really engaging. I really believed you, and I was really interested in it, too, when you speak that way. And so this is going to be a wonderful thing for you to do. And if you and I were working together ongoingly, I would continue to coach you on how to bring in this more of the celebrity and get really comfortable and confident with that, and then align the other archetypes so that you feel like you're speaking as a whole person, not as parts, right? But all the parts come into alignment to bring that authentic voice forward so that you can really connect with the people who are meant to work with you. And this is something that we don't tend to realize because we don't think about our voices. We don't think that we can change our speaking voice. Oh, my voice is just my voice. There's nothing I can do about it. But we use different voices all the time. Talking to a baby, talk to your boss, talk to your spouse or your partner, talking to a pet. Those are all different voices that we use. And when we learn to really speak from our full authentic selves, then we can actually connect with those people who we are meant to serve. But if you are holding yourself back with your voice, you're holding yourself back. You're holding your voice back, you're holding yourself back. And your ideal clients might not be able to recognize that you're the person they're meant to work with if you're not speaking in your full authentic voice. So, wonderful. So just tell me how that last one felt for you.
Well, like Claire said, I definitely felt nervous and uncomfortable because that feeling of the spotlight is, really scary for me. But it did feel fun once I got going. It's like if I can really work to take that self-conscious piece away and just have fun and, not care what people think, then I can see that I could practice with that and get more comfortable with it.
Which is really hard for the nurturer and the connector, not to care what other people think. So I want to read you this sacred money contract for nurturer, and I'd like you to keep thinking about this as you go along. And again, if we're working together, we would be working with this much more. To care for others by empowering oneself. So you can actually do more to take care of others when you fully empower yourself. Make sense?
Yes, definitely.
Great. Good. So tell people again your contact information, and then we're going to work with Claire.
Yeah. So my website is simplewisdomwithin.com, and you can reach me by email at andrea@simplewisdomwithin.com.
Great.
Thank you, Ariana.
You are so welcome. Thank you so much for being here. And I also want to let people know that I do offer complimentary 30-minute sessions where we talk about the possibility of working together. And there is a button on the page that you're watching if you would like to schedule one of those sessions with me. It is free. And I will send you the archetypes assessment ahead of time to complete before we have our session so that we can use those in our conversation. But that's also available to anybody on my website. If you just go to reclaimyourauthenticvoice.com, there is an opt-in box right at the top that will take you to get your own assessment if you want to find out what your archetypes are. They are so much fun to work with and so rich and revealing and deeply profound. And also, I do have a special right now. I offer 1 hour sacred money and authentic voice readings. And this is a 1 hour breakthrough session and they are normally $197. And for those of you watching, I have a special of $50 gift to you. So the price to you would be $147. And Rodney will be sending out information on how to purchase that special gift of a reading. I really recommend you do this for yourself. Clients who do these readings find that they are able to actually communicate better, and their better communication helps them make more money. So now let's go on to Claire. Claire, please introduce yourself.
Hi. I'm Claire Sierra, and I am the owner of Breakthrough.com and the author of The Magdalene Path, which is a book about awakening the power of your feminine soul. What else would you like me to say?
Wonderful. Oh, good. Do you want to talk about the True Purpose work at all?
Nope.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Then let's jump in. Claire's top archetype is Alchemist, and that's my number 1 too. Her number 2 is Accumulator, and her number 3 is Celebrity, and her last is Romantic. So I'm going to be using these archetypes to coach Claire, and Claire, I'm going to ask you to start reading your mission statement.
Great.
So go ahead and read the whole thing, and then we'll go back.
So I've written a book called The Magdalene Path, which is a guidebook for contemporary women to find our way back to ourselves by reconnecting with feminine soul, wisdom, and guidance from Mary Magdalene. I work with women who've worked really hard and climbed the ladder of success, only to find that they don't recognize themselves anymore. Their life looks really good on the outside, but inside they feel lost and unfulfilled, frustrated, and wondering, how did this get to be my life? I help them reconnect with their own feminine essence, their radiant beauty, juicy creativity, and sensual aliveness, so they once again feel excitement about who they really are and the gifts they bring to the world. My mission is to awaken the divine feminine soul so humanity can fully embrace ourselves as divine and embody heaven on planet Earth.
Great. So Claire and I are really aligned with our larger mission too, and I really appreciate having these wonderful, beautiful, conscious souls together with me and on this path. And it gives me hope that we can actually do it, that we can actually make the shift that we need to make. So thank you, Claire, for that. Now I would like to just talk a little bit about your top archetypes. Alchemist we've talked about a little bit, about the magic and the creativity and having social justice mindset usually. Alchemists can also have a love-hate relationship with money. And we can think that it's not really spiritual to have too much money. And again, I would like to remind you listening, this is a very common thing amongst people who are spiritual, that we're supposed to be poor, we're not supposed to value wealth, we're not supposed to have a lot of stuff. But again, this question, do you really want to leave the economy to the people who've been running it so far? And alchemists can really recognize the good that money can do. So that's part of the love part. We love the good that money can do in the world, but we hate that we have to deal with it, right? So for alchemists, a really important shift to make is to, the more I do well in the world, the more I can help others do good. So for us, we need to recognize that when we make money, it's not actually going to change who we are. Money doesn't change us. It can magnify certain things or not. But if you're a spiritually aligned person to begin with, money isn't going to make you not be a spiritually aligned person. It's going to give you tools that you can use to do more good in the world, that you can use to contribute to the causes that you care about. So think about the things that you wish you could help with in the world, and how much more can you help if you actually have money?
Absolutely.
A lot more than if you don't have any. If you're poor, how much good can you realistically do in the world? Okay?
Right.
So, for alchemists, we need to really step into that. I am a business person, I am an entrepreneur, and I allow myself to make money. And you have accumulator as number 2, which means that you're actually pretty good at making and probably saving money. Because accumulators, as the name suggests, it's our inner bankers. We really, accumulators like to save. They're good at financial details, but it can be hard for accumulators to actually invest in their business and in themselves. And then celebrity is your number 3. That's going to give you that I can go out there and be on stage. I can get up in front of people and talk, and I'm fine with it. Whereas the accumulator might be a little more wanting to be in the background. So they might have a little push me, pull you going on, and that would be something that we would work to really align the gifts of the accumulator with the gifts of the alchemist, so that all your parts are supporting each other instead of working a little bit at cross purposes or potentially conflicting with each other. So I would like you to think, as you read this again, bring in a little more of that celebrity. So you're on stage, and just read me the first 2 sentences. So about your book, and then I work with women through how did this get to be my life.
Okay.
And think about that celebrity. I'm on stage, I'm going to shine.
So I've written a book called The Magdalene Path, which is a guidebook for contemporary women to find our way back to ourselves by reconnecting with feminine soul, wisdom, and guidance from Mary Magdalene. I work with women who've worked really, really hard and have climbed the ladder of success, only to find that they don't recognize themselves anymore. Their life looked really good on the outside, but inside they feel lost and unfulfilled, really wondering, how did this get to be my life?
Great, great. So Rodney and Andrea, what did you think of that compared to the first one?
Much more powerful, much more dynamic in the voice. Really good. I liked it.
I felt like you were really connecting with the words and with the emotion behind your mission. Especially when you talked about what the women are going through, where they find themselves.
Great. Yes, and this can be an issue a little bit for accumulators in terms of communication, is that accumulators can be very much, let's get this done. It's cut and dried. It's pretty simple. Let's do it this way. Let's just do it. And that can, as I think that showed up a little bit in the first reading, where you weren't really as engaged with your listeners, and so it was a little more straight. You do have natural expression, so it wasn't that it didn't have expression, but just that, as Andrea pointed out, the amount of connection that you were allowing through your voice was less than the second time.
Right. It felt more connected to me the second time.
Good. So for Andrea, who of course is the nurturer and the connector, she's going to really be listening for that. So this is another interesting thing that we can think of in terms of how we communicate, is that people are going to hear us differently depending on their filters, what they're filtering it through. But most everyone really wants that connection, really, ultimately. So now I would like to talk a little bit about your last archetype, which is romantic. And the romantics are really into living life now. Life is to be lived right now. It's not about saving or scrimping for tomorrow. It's about having fun now. It's about enjoying luxurious experiences. It's about giving ourselves lots of great, like, spa days, or buying that beautiful cashmere sweater that was calling to you, and enjoying the feeling of that fabric. And so those kind of sensual delights of life, romantics are really good at. And romantics are also good at acting. So this romantic has been the part of you that you resonate least with, or have the most resistance to, or it has perhaps been a little bit neglected. So romantics also have this just belief that there will always be more. So it's the accumulators are always trying to make more, but have a hard time spending it. And accumulators in relationship can also be a little frugal with their time as well as with their money. And sometimes accumulators can have a difficulty making connections with people. So bringing in this aspect of romantic, that there will always be more, can help your accumulator go, oh, okay, and relax a little bit, and let go of the sort of tight hold that sometimes accumulator can have on us. So living life to its fullest is what the romantic is really, really good at. So think about that in really enjoying life, about enjoying luxurious experiences, living life to the fullest, and take a deep breath and kind of find that inner romantic. And now let's have you read this sort of second half. I help them reconnect with their own feminine essence from there down.
Okay. I help women reconnect with their own feminine essence, our radiant beauty, juicy creativity, and sensual aliveness, so that they once again feel excitement about who they are and the gifts they bring to the world.
Okay, I want to stop you for just a moment.
Okay,
I just
great.
want to reflect back to you, because there's all these wonderful words in here, right? How it sounded to me. I help them reconnect with their own feminine essence, their radiant beauty, juicy creativity, and sensual aliveness, so they once again feel excitement about who they really are and the gifts they bring to the world.
Kind of like a laundry list.
Okay, so that's that self-listening again. So really, these words are great for the romantic, right? And your romantic is still going, oh no, I'm resisting, I'm totally resisting coming out and really being present here. So radiant beauty, juicy creativity, and sensual aliveness. So they feel excitement about who they really are. Okay, so find that inner romantic and use her. Read that again.
Yeah, I think what it is the romantic to me feels softer. So to be softer, but also still like sort of potent. I'm like sort of finding how to fit the dynamic with the.
So think about that, living life to its fullest.
Yeah.
So yeah, the romantic is going to soften things a little bit. It's exactly what I'm looking for, is for the romantic to soften that accumulator kind of thing.
Right.
But you're going to also think about filtering it through your celebrity.
So we don't turn that one off.
Right. Yeah, we're not turning them off. We're trying to bring them all in together.
Great. Okay.
In a way that harmonizes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I help women reconnect with their own feminine essence, their radiant beauty, their juicy creativity, and sensual aliveness, so that you too can once again feel excitement about who you really are and the gifts that you bring to the world. Want me to keep going?
Good. Yeah.
Okay.
Now let's leave it there. Rodney and Andrea, do you have a reflection for Claire?
So the first part of that, I really felt you I'm going to say connecting. So I really felt you connecting with the romantic piece, and I could feel those words kind of come alive in a more physicalized way, and then it felt like a little bit of that resistance then came in about halfway through for you, where you maybe wanted to just get through it, and so I'm curious if you felt that internally.
I didn't feel that, but I felt like I switched the words from they to you, because I felt like I wanted to be more like talking to a person rather than talking about people.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if that created that.
No, that's nice, actually. And I did feel I felt more softness, which, because I've met you in person, I know that you have. And it is a wonderful quality that you have to offer. And I just really encourage you to allow that part more scope when you're talking about your work and when you're connecting with people and connecting with potential clients. Because I really think that is going to be a very helpful awareness for you. And make sure that your accumulator is not trying to run the show. And let's just get it out, get it done, get it,
right,
etc. But that you can bring in that softer, romantic sense of luxury, that there's time, that there's fuller expression available, and it's absolutely fine and perfectly legitimate to use it, even in a business context. This can be another thing that we get into is we think that we have to sound a certain way to sound professional, especially when we're talking about our work. But again, I want to bring this back to, if we're not speaking from our full authentic selves, especially as entrepreneurs and authors, then we're not connecting really with the people that we want to be our readers and clients. So that idea of sounding professional can be holding us back. It's an interesting. Of course, you're not going to start going out and talking like a little excited kid. That's not appropriate. Again, there's all kinds of shades of expression, right? And my general point is, we use a lot less than we think we're using, and we use less than is really appropriate to use, and we use less of ourselves in our voice than is really necessary in order for us to have the business and make the money that we want to. So I want to thank you, Claire and Andrea, so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. I'm so delighted at both of your missions in the world and your wonderful work, and Claire's book, The Magdalene Path. It might be something that you would like to go and find for yourselves. So I think I can't read your website on your lower third. So Claire, remind people of your website.
Yeah, absolutely. So the easiest way to connect with me is through my website, which is magdalenepath.com. And Magdalene is spelled Magdalene, magdalenepath.com, or you can email me, Claire, Claire, at magdalenepath.com. Yeah.
Great, and
We can be in touch.
They can find your book.
And at that website, there is a free downloadable chapter of the book. There's all kinds of goodies. There's some audio recordings that are there. There's all kinds of stuff. So for people who want to see what the book is about and get a little bit of a taste, definitely feel free to come there.
Great. Good.
Yeah.
So to remind you all, I do have this special gift of $50 off of the regular price for the Authentic Voice and Sacred Money Archetypes reading, which is a breakthrough hour that will give you great tools that you can use right away. And Rodney will be sending you out a link to that, or a link will come out in the email. But also, I think it's just at reclaimyourauthenticvoice.com/SMA reading. That's SMA as in Sacred Money Archetypes. So if you go to that URL, I think you can purchase it from there.
Yes.
And also, you can apply to have a 30-minute complimentary session with me, in which we will talk about your archetypes and how harmonizing those archetypes will help you get your ideal clients, make more money, and step into spiritually aligned six-figure success. So I look forward to talking with any of you who decide that I am the right person for you to potentially work with. And thank you so much, everyone, for being with us today. Rodney, go ahead and take us out.
Okay, wonderful. So as Ariana said, this is a wonderful opportunity for you. You've seen the transformations that Ariana's been able to create for Claire and for Andrea today. And you can imagine in less than basically 45 minutes for both of them, imagine what she can do for you for a full hour. So again, as Ariana mentioned, if you would like to book a reading with Ariana for that full hour, you can reclaimyourauthenticvoice.com/SMA reading. And when you decide to add this session to your cart, just click or enter in SMA50 into the shopping cart to receive an instant $50 off of your reading.
Thank you. I forgot to give you the coupon code.
No worries. That's why I'm here.
Okay. So the coupon code, again, is SMA50. So after you click to add to cart, then you add in the coupon code, and it will give you that $50 gift.
Yes, absolutely. So, and I'll be sending out an email to you shortly, and you will be able to book that for yourself. If you have any comments or thoughts about what you saw and experienced today with Ariana, please feel free to leave that on the Facebook comments below the video here. We'd love to address that and for future Hangouts. And again, as always, we appreciate everyone who comes and joins us every month. We appreciate you. You have a lot of places you could have been this morning, but you chose to spend this hour with us. So for that, we are deeply honored and grateful for you to be with us today.
And I would also just like to mention that next month's Hangout, I am collaborating with Julie Bartlett of ColorIQStyle.com, I think it is. And Julie is a color and wardrobe specialist. And so we're going to be talking about your presentation, how you present yourself, both from the aspect of voice and communication and from your personal style aspect. So that's going to be a really fun hangout. And we are each going to bring one person on to be coached. If you'd be interested in being coached on that hangout, let me know. You can email me at ariana@reclaimyourauthenticvoice.com, and we will talk.
Wonderful, wonderful. So with that said, thank you everyone for coming and joining us again and playing with us again this month. And Ariana and I will see you again next month for the April Hangout. Andrea, thank you also for joining us. And do you have any last words you'd like to share, Claire or Andrea?
I just want to say thank you to all of you. And Claire, it was really great to hear about your work. And I'm going to check out your website and read more about that. And thank you. This was really great.
And what would you say was your biggest aha moment, Andrea?
I think the realization that I have a lot of room to be more present and animated in my voice than I think, and try to kind of make up for that difference in my perception.
Great. Claire, what would you say was your biggest aha?
Well, so I often feel like I have the right words, but sometimes when I'm talking to people, I feel a disconnect there, like I'm not quite, it's not working. And what I'm realizing is it could be the accumulator, just like, you know, reading the menu at the restaurant, or you know, or who knows what, but that there's a way that I can actually just slow down and be more expressive, and just by thinking about some of these other qualities that they start to come through, and that it helps me convey the message and use the words that I've already crafted, but in a way that they feel authentic and they feel alive and lively, and not, you know, not just a script.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
And I would just like to add another little tip for celebrities. Sometimes as a celebrity, we can actually do that disconnect. So it could also be your celebrity, Claire, that's creating that disconnect a little bit, because we're always on stage. We're putting on a show, which means we might not be being really authentic.
Right.
So this would be something that I would love to work with you on, because I think it could come together pretty quickly.
Yeah. It's a really good awareness, and I can see how that could really be true, for sure. Yeah.
Good. So after I said, Rodney, take us out, we went into all kinds of other stuff. So
we had
now
some
we're
time.
really going.
Yeah, we had some time. So again, thank you so much, everyone, for coming. This is finally the conclusion of our session today. Thank you again, and we will see you again next month. Everyone have a wonderful, wonderful week, and take care.
Bye, everybody. Thanks,
Bye.
Rodney. Thanks, Ariana. Thank you, Andrea. Bye.
Thank you.